Hello and welcome to Middle-Aged Geek Girl. I'm Sally. So, as promised, here is my face to camera to do the Ask Me Anything questions that were sent in to me for my 50th birthday. There's around 15 questions in total, and all of them I will be providing answers for. There was nothing there that I felt that I didn't want to share. Stay tuned for that. But first of all, just to cover roughly what I did for my actual birthday. On the day itself, I went to a restaurant called Brewdog that's in an old semi-torn down prison here in Melbourne, which was called Pentridge. It was our main prison for a long time till they built some newer ones, and they've kept a lot of the old architecture because it is heritage, and they've made accommodation. There's a little shopping centre and this awesome brewery called Brewdog, and that's where we went to lunch with some friends. I tragically didn't take any photos. Of course, not sponsored in any way. I just really enjoyed the lunch. It's the second time we've been there, so I'm happy to give them a shout out for that. And on the day after my birthday, I had some medical appointments, so we didn't really do anything. But the day after that, Terry and I did a road trip up to Mount Gambier and Robe in South Australia, and we stayed overnight in Mount Gambier, but our first stop was Robe, and we wanted to go there because that's where we get our coffee from. Now, anyone that knows, or more for our overseas friends who don't know, Melbourne is considered the coffee culture spot of Australia. We're very much coffee snobs here in Melbourne, and it's very rare that we find coffee that is good enough for us anywhere outside of Melbourne. But Mahalia in Robe does a fantastic job, but when we went up there we discovered she's actually a Melbourne girl originally, so that's probably why her coffee is awesome. But we do support it because we like to support small locally owned businesses, and it also seems to be a female run business as well, so that's an extra bonus in that regard. So we had lunch there at the little cafe, and that was divine. And the piece de resistance, of course, was the chocolate shop there called Robe Town Chocolates, and my god, the chocolate is divine. We got some very nice chocolate indeed. But then we drove home, and the original thought was that I do this AMA on the road, like if we stop at certain places that we could do some filming, answer some questions. But I will also put some footage up here to show you why that was impossible. So yeah, we decided not to do that. So I'm home in front of my computer. This is my editing station here, and to the side here is normally where I film, but of course I've set up to do a face to camera. So without further ado, I've waffled on enough about the day. Let me start with the AMA. And the first question comes from Diamond Peter. The first three questions come from Diamond Peter. First one being, do you prefer diamond painting or cross stitch? And honestly, I have no preference. I am a person that does what I want to do for a solid chunk of time, and then I get sick of it and have to put it aside and never want to look at that project again or that type of craft again. So yeah, I really was thinking, I probably do more diamond painting because they're quicker to do, but it's not that I prefer it. I really love, if I'm in a cross stitch mood, I will do nothing but cross stitch. And especially back when I was running market stalls at a local convention here in Melbourne, I would love doing cross stitches of, say, the periodic table and making swear words out of it. So I can cross stitch like crazy, and then I just suddenly don't even want to look at it again, and then I move on to something else. So yeah, I can't say I have a preference. It just turns out that I do probably more diamond painting because it is quicker to achieve results in. Next from Diamond Peter was, do you use a multi-placer on diamond paintings, and if so, which one? Yes, I will use up to a 7 drill placer. Mostly I use a 3 or a single. I love my 3-placer, but if I've got a lot of background and it's one of those ones I feel like I will do a background on, I use up to a 7-placer. But my favourite is definitely a 3-placer, or of course the ever trusty single placer. And do you prefer round or square drills? Definitely round. Now, when I started out doing diamond painting, I started it during the pandemic in 2020. So back then the printing on diamond paintings was very pixelated, no matter if you got a round or a square. And I always heard that square was better. But I did a couple of squares in the early days and they had popping drills, so I really didn't like square. And then on my channel this year, I did the comparison of a round versus square in consideration of modern printing of diamond paintings. And the modern printing of diamond paintings is where they print the image as it is and then put the drill field over it, so you get the natural curves of the image and they look so much better. And on that one, which you can go back and look at the video, but of course watch that video after you've watched this one. But you can definitely see the comparison there and how square just looked terrible. It didn't have the detail that the round had. So I mean, I know there's probably people out there who still like their square over their round. I am a round girl. So yeah, thank you very much for those questions, Diamond Peter. And we can continue on with the crafty related questions. And this one comes from Emily's Colouring Corner. And it's, what are your favourite things to do like other hobbies? Oh, if you're wondering why I keep looking down, it's because I've got everything here on my iPad. So I've got the question, and I did sort of cheat and do the answers in advance as well. So here we go. Ready for all of these? I do have other hobbies. I like console gaming. I like doing jigsaws. I like building miniatures. I like brick building. I collect way too many things like key rings, postcards, badges, cloth badges. I think that's it. I was trying to reduce them, and I was stickers at one stage. I'm not so sure if I'm still doing the stickers. I hadn't decided if I was getting rid of them or not. I like watching really bad CGI movies, like your sort of movies you find on Tubi or done by the Asylum, like they're really, really bad monster movies. Love that sort of stuff. I love watching TV shows about cryptids or serial killers, like true crime or paranormal stuff, because I have mentioned it before. I did want to be a parapsychologist or a cryptozoologist when I grew up, and I still love researching and reading stuff or watching stuff about that sort of thing. And currently I'm also teaching myself drawing on Procreate for RedBubble and my Etsy store. So yeah, I do a lot, and it sort of ties into what I was saying around, do I prefer cross stitch or diamond painting? I have so many things I like to do that I just swap and change constantly. I don't have one thing I prefer over another. It's just, I do it, I get hyper fixated with it, and then suddenly I don't want to look at that thing again. So yeah, lots of hobbies. And thank you for the question. With all of these questions, if you feel like you want to answer any as well down in the comments, I would love to hear what your versions of for everybody out there, like what your hobbies are, what you prefer with diamond painting and cross stitching. Now, the next two questions are from Queen E Designs, and they were the easier questions. And then we move into the mildly ones I had to, like, not mild questions, I went mild questions, but ones I had to actually take more than 5 minutes to think about to answer. So the first two from Queen E Designs are, what is your favourite craft supply? Well, that was easy. For me, it's glue, all types of glue. Glue is amazing, glue is magical, be it Mod Podge, be it super glue. Is it called E6000? I haven't used it for a while, but the one I used to use in jewellery making, all glue is magical. And the other one, of course, is UV resin, because that too is magical, because you just put this liquid stuff on, put a UV light on it, and bang, it's dry, it's secure. Next question was, how did you meet your lovely husband? Well, I assume you're talking about Terry, because he's my only husband. No, he is my lovely husband. I met Terry. Now, I don't know how old my viewership is, but according to my algorithm on YouTube, you're all around my age or slightly older, slightly younger, but generally around my age. So you might be easily able to cast your mind back to 2001 in the early days of internet chat rooms. And if you remember ICG/MSN chat rooms, well, that's where I met Terry, through one of those chat rooms. I don't remember the exact chat room because I really wasn't that much on the internet back then, or the computer, and I thought, oh, what are these chat room thingies? I want to try it out. And I just happened to hook into one and start talking to this guy. I can't quite remember what his handle was, but anyway, we started talking. We worked out we didn't live too far apart, maybe a 20-30 minute drive apart. I think I started talking to him in the January. I finally got the courage to meet him in person in the March. This was all of 2001. And we had moved in together by the August of 2001 at the flat he was living in. And then we bought this house and where we are now, and moved in by the December of 2001. So it was definitely a very quick romance encounter connection. We didn't get married till 5.5 years after we met. That was longer, but we were living together within 6 months of meeting each other. So, yeah, just obviously there was something clicked with both of us, and it was just from a chance encounter on a chat room. So yeah, if you remember those chat rooms, I found love via that chat room, and Terry found love. So that's how we met. Now I have 3 more questions from Queen E Designs, and these are where I had to start to think about the answers a bit more. So I appreciated all levels of questions, because yeah, it was a nice build up to do the ones that were easier to answer to the ones I had to think about. So the first one here is, what made you want to start a YouTube channel? And the answer really is 2 words, but I will elaborate. And the 2 words are Terry's nagging. So it's true. Because he was doing a YouTube channel, and because I haven't been working since I was around 40 because of the bullying that happened in my job, and that's a whole nother story for it. I might do that in a whipping story time one day, the bits I'm allowed to talk about. But yeah, I hadn't been working due to the bullying and the mental health stuff, and he had started a YouTube channel, and he said, why don't you give it a go? He goes, you really will be able to do it. You've got the personality, you've got the enthusiasm, you know, you got the weirdness, the quirkiness, whatever. I should be able to give it a go. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do it. I don't know what to do it on. I'm not entertaining. I don't really want to deal with people, because you know, I just assumed that everyone that was going to watch YouTube was going to be a troll and say nasty things, especially when well, at that stage I wasn't diagnosed with the ADHD, so it was a bit, I just wasn't sure or confident in myself, and I had no idea what I was going to start it on. But I started the channel up on doing game reviews. So if you go back to my very first videos, or also hauls, if we went to like the pop culture store that is in Geelong here in Victoria, where they sell a lot of pop culture toys and that, because my handle is middle-aged geek girl, I do love geeky stuff. So I had no idea how I was going to start it, so I just thought I'd do a couple of game reviews. And then the pandemic hit, and then I got into diamond painting, and then got into adult colouring, and then got into cross stitch again. I was into cross stitch, but more started getting offered stuff. My beginning was game reviews, and because I still love gaming, but there was always that thing about being an older female doing game reviews. I really did think if I kept that up, I was going to get a lot of trolls, and that's why I pivoted the channel. Next question is, where did you get your amazingly hilarious sense of humour? Well, first of all, thank you, Queen E Designs. You might be the only person that thinks I'm funny. I don't know, but it's a good question. I don't know. I think maybe my dad's English, so I grew up watching a lot of English comedy duos, like the 2 Ronnies and a bit of Fry and Laurie. Oh, Kenny Everett I watched, Penny Hill I watched. I'm just trying to think of them all. I had a bunch of them, but most of the English, Hale and Pace, most of the English comedy duos I watched and loved. So I think I've got a very English sense of humor. It's American sense of humor is very different to English sense of humor. And I, definitely have an English sense of humor. It's a bit more childlike and a bit more, you find the word bum funny when you're 3 and you laugh yourself sick. That's the sort of sense of humor I have. I find fart humor funny. I really do. And that's a rare thing in a female, I've been told. Most females get disgusted at fart humour. I mean, again, let me know in the comments if you think that females find fart humour funny, or if that's just a rare thing in a lady. Well, I'm not a lady, in a female. But yeah, I will laugh at anything with a fart in it. And yeah, I think it's my dad. My dad and I used to joke a lot when I was growing up, but yeah, I definitely got that English sense of humour. So I think it was partly born and partly because of the influences. The Goodies, another good example of what I used to watch a lot of and love, the Goodies. And I think it's just something it's always been too, that I try, no matter how sad I get, we can usually get me out of the worst with a joke somewhere in there. And it's just, I've always tried not to lose that sense of humour. I try to always have fun and a sense of wonder, and at least try and find something amusing, not at other people's expense, never at other people's expense. You always aim upwards, never aim downwards with humour. But if you can find something in the day to make you smile or laugh, or if you can make someone else laugh in a day, then I think that day is not wasted. Last one from Queen E Designs. Now this one I really had to think about, but it was a good question, and it's: have your mental health diagnoses changed the way you think and or feel about yourself? And the short answer is yes, but the big answer, I will have to read it because I did write this one down, so I will be looking away from the camera for a little bit, because as I said, I wrote this one down because I wanted to sort of get it right what I was responding. So I've got yes. However, it wasn't until this year, being 2023, that I accepted them. I'm still working on it, but the ADHD diagnosis or diagnoses was the most profound finding my mental health has ever had. Depression and anxiety have been around since my teens, and I often felt like a failure. I came from parents of a generation of you just suck it up or you get over it. So I often felt broken. I never felt I truly fit in with anyone or anywhere, so I masked. A lot of women with ADHD do that, and we are masters at it. So when I was finally diagnosed with ADHD and ASD this year, my life just clicked. I understand why I did things a certain way, why I was seen as weird or strange growing up, and why I love researching things like serial killers, ghosts, aliens, cryptids, whilst my friends were reading romance novels and trying to get boyfriends. I'm embracing my weird now more than ever. And again, apologies that I read that, because it was something I wrote and I wanted to make sure it came across accurate, so I've just basically read what I'd written. But that's it. It was one of those things growing up. I always knew I was different, and I always would sit there, and well, even in my time with Terry up until probably, this year, I have been known to be bawling in his eyes, so upset and crying and wanting to know why I was different and why I can't be like other people and why people can't like me for who I am. It was always just suck it up. You've just got to get over it, get on with life. And that's the worst advice you can give to people with depression and anxiety. I really hate that attitude, and it definitely seems to be the attitude, and again, not all boomers, but of boomers, because I am the child of boomers, and it just seems to be the generational thing. It's like they all just had to suck it up and get on with life because their parents were the parents that were at war, so they all just had to suck it up and get on with life. That really, it's my generation. There's still people in my generation that have that attitude. I'm a Gen Xer, but you just hope the generation from after me are so much more comfortable with identifying if there's a mental health crisis and they need help. It's really horrible. So yeah, it does change the way I feel about myself, but now it's in a more embracing and accepting way. When I was younger, it was always in a negative, why am I different, I hate myself way. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. And also I hope that gives everybody watching some sort of hope as well, that you don't feel broken if you have mental illnesses. You're not broken. Next questions. Well, I had to get some from him. So the next two questions are from this dude called Terry from YouTube channel Terry Talks Movies. Terry asked, what's your favorite thing about being a YouTuber? And of course, flippantly, the first thing I said was the freebies. And is it wrong to say the freebies? But that's my flippant answer. I mean, of course, I like the freebies. I'm not going to complain about the freebies. But the thing I like most about being a YouTuber now is the building a community. I'm a very micro YouTube channel. I get that. I'm on, I think, 1360 subscribers at the time of recording this. So it's a very small YouTube channel, but that's still 1360 or 1360 people that have thought I'm worthy enough to subscribe to, that want to be part of my YouTube family, that think I do something that might be good enough for them to watch. So it's definitely the sense of building a community and finding people like me, and that's amazing when you have such self-doubt and stuff like that I said when I was originally hesitant in starting the channel. It's great to know that there are other people like me and that people find what I do worthy enough of their time. So it's definitely that, and the freebies. And his other question, of course, was, who are your favorite YouTubers apart from me? Well, he's assuming he's one of my favorite YouTubers. He's the only type of his channel I watch, and that's because I'm an extremely wonderful and supportive wife. That's why I watch movie content. I don't watch any other movie type related YouTube channels. But again, I don't have favorite YouTubers. I have more favorite types of channels. I like watching some gaming channels, and within that space I've got like Jacksepticeye, Outside Xbox, Outside Extra, Eurogamer, things like that. I watch some true crime channels, and that's stuff like Coffee House Crime, Scary Mysteries, Mr. Ballin, little comedy channels like Ryan George, Sora the Troll, Alistair Beckett King, things like that. Ask a Mortician, I like her stuff too. I mean, yeah, it's more types of channels as opposed to specific YouTubers, and then there's some artsy and crafty channels I like as well. And I watch Moist Critical or Penguins Zero Charlie, if you know him. I do watch a couple of those ones just so I can try and keep up with the youth of today, because otherwise I feel like I am getting old if I can't do that. But yeah, that hopefully answers and I'd love to hear in the comments also what some of your favorite YouTubers or channels are, because I might discover something new that I don't know exists otherwise. So yeah, let me know also what you like. That's everybody, not just Terry. I know what Terry likes. I can see his subscriptions. Next one from Glitter Ghost. What's your number one pet peeve? And this one is down in the harder questions to answer, because it was a hard question, believe it or not, for me to answer. Not because I don't have pet peeves. I have pet peeves. But everything I was listing down, I think, was growing into more of a major annoyance. There's a pet peeve, and then there's a major annoyance, and then it just sends me into a fiery rage. And most things are probably sit in the sends me into a fiery rage, because I have I have emotional dysregulation. That's just one of the things that you get with some mental illnesses, and I have that, so I can get quite passionate and fiery about a lot of things. So I was trying to think what's smaller on the pet peeve scale, and I came up with one. I still think this sends me into a fiery rage a bit too, but now I'm assuming they're going to be in most places around the world. But when you go into a shopping centre and you get the people who are manning a table to try and get donations for major charities. So for here in Australia, it'll be stuff like the Cancer Council, Peter Mac, things to do with kids and world hunger and stuff like that. It's any sort of charity pusher, and they're so pushy because they're usually run by people who are on working visas on holidays. So, and they run by commission. So they will literally jump out in front of you when you're just trying to walk through a shopping centre to do your grocery shopping or something, or they're loud and they call you over, and they're just really horribly obnoxious because they have to be, because they want to get the commissions and they want to get the people in to do their monthly donations, etc., etc. And I hate them with a passion because they always trigger my anxiety because of who I am. When they call out to you, I find it really hard to just ignore them and keep walking, which is what a lot of people just keep doing. But I find that it's rude, and I know I get upset because I'm being rude to people, and so it triggers all of these emotions in me. I just really hate that whole concept. It's just like, because they don't know what the person is going through, that they're annoying. If people want to donate monthly to these charities and sign up for the monthly donations, they will come over to you. But yeah, that was about probably the lightest of all of the ones I could think of, because I'm a very passionate person and get angry easy. So there you go. But again, in the comments, love to hear what your pet peeves are, everybody. One day, just one day, I want to have the courage to go up and tell them that they're triggering my anxiety and that they should stop yelling out to people, or generally just tell them to f off. But I don't know if I will. I don't think I got the courage. I really want to, but I don't think I got the courage to do that. Next 3 questions come from Magisterial Voyager, and these were really good brain thinkers, these ones. The first one was, what's the best, healthiest thing about your adulthood at 50? And that one is, the first thing that came to my mind was my relationship with Terry. I think that's probably, the best thing in my life, to be honest. If I hadn't have met him, I was 27 when I met him. Just trying to do the maths in my head. Yeah, I have grown so much in that time. I've been encouraged to do so much in that time that we've been together, and I know I wouldn't have done pretty much most of what I've done in my life if it wasn't for meeting him. He is so encouraging of me being me, and if I want to give something a go, he's always encouraging. I don't know how many times I've said I wanted to quit the channel, for example, and he's always encouraging me to keep going. And I'm sure he's had his fill of me saying, I don't want to do this anymore, I can't do this anymore, regardless of what it is, whether it be the YouTube channel or arts and crafts or whatever. He's always there encouraging. I mean, I got my first tattoo with him because he was like, get tattoos, it's your body, where everyone else in my life was like, ooh, tattoos, blah blah blah. So it's just that, you know, something as simple as that. He's the healthiest and best part of my life at 50, without a doubt. My body is not healthy, so I can't say that's healthy. I got lots of issues there, but yeah, having a really awesome adult relationship with my best friend, with my soulmate, with the man I love immensely, and also still being able to be funny and childish and juvenile with him at the same time. It's just fantastic. So yeah, definitely Terry. And now when he watches this, he's probably going to remind me of this answer every time he wants something from now on. He'll use it to his advantage somehow, I'm sure. Number 2, if you were talking to a room full of young adults trying to figure themselves and their lives out, what would you tell them? Well, the simple and short answer to this one is don't be a dick. Most of us are just trying to get through day to day the best we can, trying to live our best lives, and yeah, we just don't need dickheads to ruin that for us. Be polite to service workers. Be polite to cleaners. Be polite to doctors. It doesn't matter what a person does for a living. Don't be a dick to them. Be polite to everybody. Also, but on the other side of that, don't take shit either unnecessarily. Like, don't be a doormat. But I'm basically saying you don't have to be rude just to be rude, or because you're having a bad day. And I'm not perfect of that. I know I have lost my cool from time to time at people, but then I've also had to deal with some pretty difficult stuff that I dealt with politely but forcefully, but politely, because as I said, you don't have to be a doormat at the same time, and I got results with it. So just remember everyone's trying their best. And never lose your sense of humour / don't let life make you bitter. There are things that I am still dealing with, like the fact I don't have children. It's not because I didn't want them, it's because I couldn't have them. And I still at 50 am living the consequences of that in the sense of how horrible that's made me feel. And I work really hard on not letting that make me bitter. There are times it's probably made me pull back a bit from people having children if I couldn't deal with it because of my own, thoughts about not being able to have them. I mean, I've turned out to be the world's best auntie. You just have to ask my 13-year-old nephew Billy. He will tell you that. But even when he was born, I couldn't muster it in me to meet him until he was about 18 months old because I was really so sad that I couldn't have them, that I just couldn't take it to go and meet him. And so Terry went up and met him when he was first born because it's from Terry's side of the family. And all he did apparently was cry the entire time because he didn't like Terry's beard. But then I went up the Christmas after he was born. He was 18 months old at that stage, and as soon as I walked into the front door, he just ran up to me, grabbed me by the hand and dragged me over to his toys, and that was it. He'd never seen or knew who I was before that moment, but that was it. We've been inseparable ever since. Sadly, he lives in another state, but him and I have a special bond, and I'm just happy I can be the world's best auntie to him, but it still breaks my heart that I'm not a mum. It could have easily turned into something that made me very bitter. So yeah, I mean, this is me just waffling on a bit for a long way to try and explain about not letting the bad things and the really bad things that are really life-changing and hurt you, don't let them make you bitter. And that would be my advice to young people. And sorry I waffled on a bit, but you sort of needed context. There's a good example of something that can quite easily make you bitter. And the last question from Magisterial Voyager is, what do you love the most about yourself and life at 50? And the honest answer is I don't know, because I'm still learning it. I've only discovered in this year that I'm neurodivergent, even though I have been all my life. I finally had an official diagnosis of it. So I'm really still trying to work out what that means. The 40s were a bad decade for many reasons, because one of them being, as I mentioned, about the kids stuff, about being bullied out of my job and other things that went on in life. So yeah, the 50s is a decade I plan to rebuild and actually find an answer to that question, like what, who is Sally version 5.0? We've got to work that out because I really don't know. So yeah, I can't go into a more depth answer on that one, but yeah, I honestly don't know. I'm learning it. In a weird way, I guess the best part of it is that it's going to be a new decade and a time to grow and learn new things about myself. And only 2 more questions to go, so thank you for sticking this far into it. I do appreciate it, and I am loving these questions. And if you have watched this far into it, maybe now is a good time, if you haven't done so already, to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and also hit that notification bell. Next question. So this one wasn't a hard question to answer, but I chucked it down here because it is a personal question, and it was from Auntie Bum, and it's that, I know you are an ally, but given that 50% of AUDHD are queer, are you bi, pan, non-binary? Now, she also gave me the caveat that I didn't have to answer this one if I didn't want to, and I've got no problem in answering it because you should never be ashamed of who you are. And really the answer for me is I would consider myself asexual, pan-romantic. There has been hints in some of my videos where I've drawn or coloured in things around Pride Month, drawn flags or coloured them in. I've always done a pansexual flag or an asexual flag, and that's why I deem myself more pan-romantic as opposed to pansexual, because it's asexual pan-romantic. If you need to Google all that yourself, please feel free. And the last question, which I saved this one for last because this one was the hardest of all questions to answer, and it was from a dear friend Matthew, who I have known for many years. He was my boss once when we worked at the financial institution, which I refuse to name, together. But yeah, so I've known Matthew for many years, and his question was, what do you want for your birthday? And that was the hardest question because the true answer is if I know. I have received some cool stuff for my birthday, which I will do a haul video or a birthday video to show you what gifties I got. But really, I had no idea when I was asked that question. No idea. As far as YouTube's concerned, your support, being everybody out there, your ongoing support for my channel is a nice thing for my birthday. Hey, subscriptions, if you haven't subscribed, would be lovely for my birthday. But yeah, I'm at that point, I think, where I'm really terrible at knowing what physical things I want for my birthday. I just appreciation, love, messages, stuff like that, which I got from you, Matthew, and I got from a lot of people, and I got some gifties as well, so they don't go astray. But yeah, it's really hard. I'm just one of those people who have no idea what I want when it comes to birthday and Christmas. So sorry, Matthew, I don't know. But that was it. That was the last question. So thanks to everybody who submitted a question. This was a lot of fun. I actually was a bit worried at first. I thought, do I want to do it? But then when I got into answering the questions, it really is not so bad. It was quite fun to do, and therapeutic and cathartic and all those things, to be able to do it. And I hope you got something out of it as well for watching, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about me, whether that means you like me more and are going to suggest my channel to friends and family, or whether you've gone, oh my god, this woman is totally off the rails, we don't want to support her anymore. Whatever, if it's evoked an emotion, it's worked. Like art, isn't good art meant to just evoke an emotion? It doesn't have to actually be technically a good piece, it just has to evoke something in the viewer. So I hope that's exactly what this video has done for you. So again, thank you to everybody for the questions. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your answers, or read, I should say. I would love to read your answers down in the comments, because yeah, some of those questions are really quite interesting to see how other people think, and am I spot on for thinking that I'm building my own little tribe here on YouTube. But the usual sign off, now's a good time to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you're interested in supporting the channel further, I do have a Ko-fi and a Patreon account set up, and the details are up here on screen. But that will do it for this video. So back to normal programming from now on, where it will be some unboxings or PR unboxings, and then before we know it, I'll have to be releasing videos for Creepmas, and that's only, oh my goodness, that's like, it'll only be like the video after this video, or the video after this video after this video will be when I have to start releasing my Creepmas stuff. But it's very, very close. So yeah, so stay tuned for, I hope to do a little bit of extra videos again in December. They may be shorts, because I have a lot of different Christmas kits I want to cover. So yeah, it may be shorts, I don't know yet. We'll see how I go, or if I feel burnt out. But because I have stuff like, I want to show my birthday haul, I've got to do the completed pages, so we might not get a lot of the Christmassy stuff done. And also, if you're wondering if I'm going to do another hashtag event, because the year to 50 has ended at the end of November, which this month, I'm having December off for hashtag events. I'm still releasing videos, but I will start a new one in January, and I am still fine-tuning it, because it's not going to be quite the same, but also sort of the same. I talk in riddles, I know that, but we'll work it out. But it will be starting from January, so towards the end of December I'll do a video to announce that one. And this is a good opportunity to thank everybody also that participated in the yearly hashtag events for my year to 50. That was awesome. That really made me feel like people actually do pay attention to my channel or to my hashtag events and wanted to participate. And yeah, that was just a really good feeling as well. But I have waffled on enough. This is going to be a very long video, but thank you for sticking by it and watching it. It is all truly appreciated. And everybody, until next time, stay weird, stay safe, and I will catch you in the next one.